Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the protein video. So I just want to clarify this, the steps that you need to take to make sure that your protein is in check at all times throughout the week. So here's some simple steps to follow. So in order to assess how much protein that you need personally per day, because everybody's different, everybody's a different weight, everybody's training differently, etc., etc. So how do we establish on a personal level what you need to have in order to create your goals? So I usually work within a range of 1 to 1.7 grams of protein. Now, what we need to do is establish this range, okay? Where do you fit within this range? So if, let's say, for example, you're taking it nice and steady, you're not training too intensely, you're not training too regularly. Let's say you're only doing 2, maybe 3 sessions a week. They're pretty steady sessions. You're not doing a lot of resistance training. Your muscle doesn't need to recover massively. Let's say you're doing 3 aerobic sessions per week or something like that. You might not need anywhere near as much protein as somebody, for example, that's training like a semi-professional athlete, for example. You might be training 5 or 6 times a week, maybe twice a day, doing lots and lots of resistance training, and your muscles are going to need a massive amount of recovery as a result of that. So we need to support your body proportionately, really, in relation to what sort of training that you're doing. So if you're at the lower end of the scale, we need to be at the sort of 1 gram of protein. If we're at the upper end of the scale, training very intensively, like I said earlier, we need to be about 1.7 grams of protein. Now, anywhere in between there as well, obviously you'll know where to place yourself on that scale. Once we've assessed this bit here, we then multiply it by our body mass in kilograms. So let's say, for example, if you were right at the lower end of the scale and you had 1 gram of protein, multiplied that by your body mass in kilograms, and you were 80 kilograms, that's obviously going to equal 80 grams of protein target per day. So I hope that makes sense. So let's say, for example, if you're really training massively hard, it's 1.7, you would multiply 1.7 by your body weight in kilograms, which is 80 kilograms, equals your protein target per day. Now, once we've got our target protein per day, in this example here, it's actually 80 grams. What we need to do is spread this in step 4, spread this out as equally as you can throughout the day. Ideally 4 to 6 sort of sessions of protein or sections of protein per day. But I totally and utterly understand that breaking your protein intakes into 6 different sections per day might not work into your lifestyle. You might have work, you might have other commitments throughout the day, and maybe you can actually only have breakfast, lunch, an evening meal, and let's say a section for snacks. So you may want to actually focus on the 4 sections per day. But what we try and avoid, basically, the whole reason for this step number 4 is to basically avoid you having a massive peak in your protein intakes. So if we had like a little graph here and your protein intakes per day, so let's say, for example, if you had all your protein in the morning and then not very much, like a little bit more, and then like it sort of looked like that, that might cause you problems. What we could do ideally with doing really is making sure that we have a peak of protein there, a peak of protein there, a peak of protein there, a peak of protein there. Excellent. So now we've got 4 peaks of protein throughout the day, and it's nicely sort of evenly spread out. That's going to help your body no end. It's going to help you win, guys, hence the smiley face. So let's just take a little look at why. Now, obviously, there's literally trillions, billions, millions, gazillions of reasons here, but I've got highlighted some of the key points. So think about your satiety and your hunger levels. So, when you consume protein as part of many of your meals, your hunger levels are actually going to stay much lower for much longer because protein takes longer to digest. It helps you feel fuller. There's the feeling of satiety. You've basically had the food that you want and you're not feeling very hungry at all. That's what satiety is all about. So the protein helps no end in that. So muscular hypertrophy, so making your muscles get bigger, making sure that you recover, making sure that your muscles repair as well. So if you've got little tiny pulls and strains and things like that. Maybe, let's say, for example, you have a massively intense back session or something, you might have felt a bit of a pull. Your proteins intakes are only going to assist you with that recovery. And lots of other things like enzymes, hormones, antibodies, so to be fighting off illnesses and diseases, things like that. Like I said, plus a trillion more, maybe not a trillion, but you know, you get the point. So let's try and get this protein ticked off, guys. For all these reasons and more, and hopefully this simple step-by-step process sorts all of those protein-related challenges out for you. Thanks very much, guys. Take care and keep smashing those protein intakes.